And you know, if someone gets injured, you're gonna have to redo it. Yeah.
I don't do good with kids
I
crying.
don't do that either, that's why I can't do it.
All right, okay. Okay, it is 5 o'clock, so I will call the meeting to order. Can everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alicia, will you please do a roll call? Certainly. Lori Largen.
Here.
Ian McDonald.
Here.
Matt Kukal.
Here.
Lacey Oster. Here. Bruce Largen.
Here.
Marge Willow. Here. Corey Cole.
Here.
Our district mission: together we engage, educate, and empower all learners, bridging their passions to pathways to create successful futures and positively contribute to our local and global communities. Looking at the approval of our agenda, is there a motion to approve the agenda with an amendment, moving the student board representative report 5A to follow number 2, public comment?
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we will move on with our public comment. Donnie, you are up first, and Donnie is going to be speaking regarding the concerts during the school year. Donnie, if you could please state your name, address, and the item of concern to be addressed.
Sure.
And you will have 3 minutes to do this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Fellow board members, my name is Donnie Kern. I reside at 606 Raymond Street. I'm also chairman of the Public Works of the Village of Somerset, and I sit on the board with the village. And I want to bring something to your attention tonight that's not on your agenda, but it is something that I believe that we as a village board and you as a governing body of the school district feel the need to be made aware of. Tomorrow at 6:30, the village board has called a special meeting for the purposes of reviewing possible violation of the interim conditional use permit for the concert grounds with Live Nation. In January, we as a village board reviewed the interim conditional use permit, and we approved the interim conditional use permit with the understanding that there would not be any concerts during the school year. That's written right in section 7 of the conditional use permit under public safety matters. Clearly states that permittees will coordinate with Pea Soup Days Committee to avoid event conflicts. No concerts will be allowed on weekdays during the regular school year, except for Fridays in May, September, and October from 3 to 12, and so on. Now, I'm not here to say that I'm anti-concert, but I am pro-safety for the children. And I'm concerned, and I want to bring this as a governing body. I'd like to see I encourage you, if you can, as board members, to think about this, as these concerts will affect the 2023-2024 school year, with a concert on May 29th, on Wednesday, May 29th, tentatively scheduled, and also the 2024-2025 school year with a Thursday, September 5th concert scheduled. I'm interested in encouraging all the board members and anybody else that wishes to come to give public comment. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions on the matter. My concerns are the safety of the children getting home at a proper time. I know I've talked to a couple of the board members, and I've been around long enough to remember that the school did close when there was a safety concern, when we had big concerts coming in a time before. And I'm sure that with the two governing bodies having the opportunity to collaborate together and us to listen, that we can get through this together as a community for the safety of the children. And I'm not, like I said, I'm unopposed to it, but I really do encourage that it takes all of us as committees, not just a few guys on a board meeting down at the village hall, to make that decision on behalf of the whole community. So please, if you have the time in your schedule tomorrow at 6:30, I would welcome that any and all comments down there at that time as we deliberate the matter. And if anybody wishes to get a hold of me, feel free to send an email out to the board as well. If you can't be there, because your opinions do matter in this regard, and I encourage any and all opinions on that so that we can deliberate properly over this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Don. Ashley, and the same with you, if you could state your name, address, and then item of concern to be addressed. And you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Ashley Cochran. I live at 1891 90th Street in New Richmond, Somerset School District though. At January's regular school board meeting, you had a teacher come forward and express how difficult it was for her to remain in her job. She stated, and I quote, "We are increasingly subject to public comments and debate about the daily decisions that we make, our interactions with our students and our professionals," end quote. After her public comment, she was attacked on local social media groups for speaking out. I was disappointed to see that at your last working session, this board did not have an agenda item to discuss how to address this emotional toll for our district educators. The school board has the ability to make policies to help staff. Every time a negative email, phone call, or social media post is directed at a staff member, group of educators, or at one of the schools, this school board should have a policy in place to contact the staff involved and find ways to positively support them. I know that this board cannot change the current political climate on public schools, and you cannot, nor should you want to, stop someone from discussing what they believe is the wrong course for our district. I want to be clear, I believe in our freedom of speech, and I'm not asking that this policy blindly agree that the educator was correct. All I'm asking is that this school board immediately take action to support our staff in the same manner that we require them to support our students, and put a policy in place to guarantee this happens. We have unfulfilled positions within this district. We have teachers and staff that are leaving after years of service to our schools. We have new teachers and staff that are not renewing their contracts to continue with our schools. As a community member and a substitute teacher for this district, I'm scared. And as a parent, I'm angry. Our district educators saw one of their own come to you and publicly share the suffering that is happening, and you didn't make this an agenda item. Shame on you. We're having a hard enough time hiring and retaining quality staff, and your inaction isn't encouraging anyone. You can't be scared to reach out to your staff when they come under attack. You have to get in the trenches with them and let them know that you're not alone. I implore you to do better for Somerset. Thank you.
Okay, Victoria, you are up.
All right.
Yeah, our February. Okay, so our elementary school, they had their parents' conference at the beginning of the month, March 30th to January 30th to February 1st, and then they had a great time having a lot of community members inside of their building and a lot of socializing, and it went really well. The week of February 12th, they had annual Parents, Pastries, and Paired Reading event where they were able to go early morning, read with their kids and their parents, and have donuts. And then they celebrated their love of reading all month and held their third annual readathon as a school and read a total of 244,785 minutes. And they all were able to get a prize. And then they reached their goals, so they're having a staff pie in the face assembly and a school dance party on March 8th. So that will be really fun. I was able to take part of it last year and had a blast.
I know.
The middle school, they just wrapped up all their winter sports last week with girls basketball and middle school wrestling having their final competitions. Grimm's Brothers Speculathon was a huge success, and the students performed very well. 7th and 8th grade music students performed at their solo ensemble event, which we hosted at the middle school. So thank you to Mr. Posel for organizing and scheduling all the nights. Student Council sponsored their Winter Jenga tournament this month, and there's been a lot of fun and a lot of focus happening. This week, the students get to have the option to go snow tubing or at Trollhagen on Thursday night.
I got ya.
So February 7th, students had reward day where they got to pick where they wanted to attend for good grades, truancy, good behavior, and they could also have an option to stay at school. And then human anatomy and CIS psychology traveled to Stout where they were able to go into a cadaver lab, which was great. Loved it. The students are beginning to sign up for classes next year, so they're just gonna have a lot of fun with that. And then we held our annual Polar Days week with a lot of games and the crowning of our Polar Days King Queen. And just we had fun at the assembly. And then they've been having career representatives who come in every Thursday where this time juniors and seniors are able to take part and like listen to the different career options they can have when they get into college. And then freshmen and sophomores are also did a science fair, and a lot of the upperclassmen went to go support them, which I think made it a lot better for them. Okay, athletics and activities. Girls hockey season ended on Saturday against Fusion, where they were sectional runner-up. Boys hockey ended on February 20th, losing against River Falls. Boys basketball plays their first playoff game on Friday against Northwestern or St. Croix Falls. Girls basketball are now the new regional champs, winning against Prescott, and will play on Thursday in the sectional semifinals against Baldwin and Barron. Charlotte State took 4th place in their non-tumble routine and were state champions on their game day routine. And then robotics is also heading to state this weekend. And then middle school and high school have their Fine Arts Festival tonight, where both high school and middle school band and choir will be performing. And that's
Thank you, Victoria. Okay, moving on, we have our Spartan Spotlight. We fly with you fly. We have lots of people here. Thank you for coming.
Tenure 5. Good evening, everyone. I have been bragging about all the wonderful things that are happening in our kindergarten and first grade classrooms and the great things that are happening. And so, talking to Shannon, we said it's time we come talk to the board about what's happening. So I'm super excited. Are you guys going to introduce yourselves when you go up there? Sure. Yes? Okay. So I have kindergarten, first grade teachers and our reading specialists that are going to, are we ready? Fly with you, fly.
I mean, I can't play that. Right, I'm already on that.
She just needs permission to like.
Mindy, do you want to go on my computer if you log in on yours? I got it.
Oh, Trisha's got it. Okay.
So then request the access and she can just.
Who has who?
Oh.
Until Mindy approves it.
Sorry, I thought that I gave you permission, but it's just.
It might just be because it's an extra like piece on there. I'm sure you probably did.
It's a link within slide 8 for video.
Yeah, so it's like all good.
Oh.
I know we can't.
That might be Mel's video or Brenda's.
Or Brenda, or Mel.
Well, do we say? Trying to bedazzle everybody. I just signed it.
You don't know who's it is.
Well, take your time. Wold and Marka Johnson forgot the meeting started at 5.
Oh.
So that's all right. We've got plenty of time. Yep,
Okay,
all
Be
good.
courteous and give them a buffer.
Well, you know, and what's so funny is we're super excited and like just maybe a little nervous. And you think, why? They speak to how many children every day, but it's not the same. So we're excited to show you what we do each day.
How about if I just sign up and then figure out? Can you access the other slides?
That's what I was wondering. Do we start and then when we get to slide?
Is it not till slide 8? Let's try
try
it.
to request access.
Here we go. We'll all learn something. Without further ado, here we go.
All right, thank you for having us. I'm Kitsy Klinger, I teach first grade. We started implementing UFly full on this year. It's our core phonics instruction for K1 and second grade actually started it this year as well. So what is UFly Foundations? It's an explicit and systematic program for teaching phonics. It's meant to improve instruction in foundational reading for grades K to 2. It's part of our core resource to accompany MyView. It can be used for whole group or small group. We do both. It's aligned with the science of reading. It's research and evidence-based. It's incredibly inexpensive, and it is easy to implement. Here are some examples of the digital work. So on UFly's website, this is all free. Everything, the Google Slides, the print off of all the stories that we use, the rolling reads, all of the resources are entirely free. The only cost was a $70 manual. And it is amazing how much $70 is going to do for these kids over the course of the school years. So yeah, these are just some examples. The next one. Was this musical because Bradley couldn't be here? Okay, this is example of sound walls. One thing that's really cool about the science of reading is it really puts the kids in the driver's seat and really owning sounds more than just knowing the sound that letter patterns and letters make. They also are paying attention to where those sounds are produced in their mouth. What's the shape of their mouth? What do their teeth do when they make a sound? What does their tongue do? What does their throat do? And our students are very well aware of what their throat does when they make certain sounds, what their lips do, what their tongue does, which is a huge part of, normally was a big part of speech education, and our regular ed students weren't getting that, but UFly in the science of reading has incorporated speech patterns with how to read, how to write, how to sound out. It's amazing. It really empowers the kids. So that's mine. Who's next? Hard words.
Another piece in, another step in a typical UFly lesson, I'm Megan Powell, I'm a first grade teacher, sorry, is this part called irregular words. And here students are learning that nearly every word is decodable. The words here, they're practicing words that we call heart words, or there are letters that do not make the regular phonemic pattern sounds. So here you see my students, they spelled the word could. They have learned that a C in the word could makes the anticipatory, the sound that you're anticipating, or the k sound. So under the C, they wrote a little square. So they've learned visuals to cue them to be able to read these unknown words. Then they've learned that the ending sound, the final sound of the D, makes the sound that they're anticipating, or the D sound. But they have also learned that the O-U-L, none of those letters are making the sound that they are anticipating, and that is the part they have to learn by heart. Hence the heart that they've written under the O-U-L part of the word. So every part of the lesson, or this step that students are practicing, that the lesson starts with them reviewing words that they have already learned, heart words that they have already learned. And then we teach them 1 to maybe 3 new heart words for the overall UFly lesson.
Okay. Melanie Germain, I teach kindergarten. This is something we do a lot of. We use the whiteboards to write words that we're sounding out. And we also do something called chaining. So for instance, if I say, write the word mop, and we sound it out, we can segment mop. Then I'll say, okay, now I'm gonna say a new word, and you have to change one sound in that word, top, mop to top. And so they'll just erase one letter and add and make a new word using that. And it's called chaining, where you're changing letters, but you're kind of going back and forth. So we use whiteboards for a lot of the lessons in UFly, and it just really helps them. This is Billy Jo's slide. She has those little dot markers, so she's able to make the sounds and slide them as they're making the sounds. So for instance, if she's doing the word, I think is it bet down there? Best. She would have the best, so she would have them slide those little markers to sound out each letter as you go. So best. So that's the whiteboard.
A big part of our reading program is small group intervention time, and that's a time where you take children that might need a little extra support. It can be in a variety of different reasons. Your groups are constantly moving and changing. One group might need some support with vowels, another group with consonant blends, some kids with the heart words and being able to figure that out. So these are just some examples of some different activities that you can do, pull back and with small groups of students that have similar needs and support. And it just kind of just shows you how there's different activities that you do to help kids learn how to spell and activities that you do to help kids learn how to read. And that just kind of moves on to show that our kids are reading and writing, and it is absolutely amazing. They're taking all these skills, they're putting it together. We use this at small group time in the morning. We also have a win time in the afternoon where we can also support kids during those times doing activities that support our UFly and our Haggerty. They've got skills right in both of our manuals that you can pull back and do with students, so it's been really helpful.
This is called Roll and Read, and it is an interactive game that comes with every single lesson. And you can play it with a partner, you can play it with small groups, you can do a whole group. And basically what it is they roll the dice and then they look at what word is underneath that numbered dice, and we sound it out together. Yeah, my little video is not gonna work, so sorry about that. But they do love this. It's one of their favorite parts of the day in my classroom anyway. And so so we do it every day. Every single lesson comes with one. So it's been really it's amazing how they're reading and how they're picking it up. It really is.
I'm Rachel Fuller, first grade teacher. I did the slide on the decodable text, so these come with every skill as well. The roll and read and the story comes with them. They cover a whole bunch of skills. Not only the sight words are embedded into the stories, the phonics skill for the week is in the story. It's also great because they do a great job at interweaving the skills. So past sight words are in the stories, past phonics skills are in the stories, so the kids constantly are practicing the skills that we've learned over and over. We do it whole group together, so we start by sounding out and reading the title of the story together and then really work on comprehending like what we read, what does that mean, and how do we draw a picture to go with the words to our story. The kids think it's fun, obviously, because they're illustrators to their own little books. And then we continue to read each page. They're 4 pages, so they're pretty short. Read them together and then really have a discussion like what were the important parts in there, what do you think we have to have in our pictures to show that we really understand what the text was about. It's also great, we do a lot of highlighting and word searching in it. So like when we read a page, like let's grab our yellow crayon and see if we can find the sight word many that we've been working on. So they highlight sight words, or we did a big unit on digraphs, so we go back through and see, like let's see if we can find all the words that have a PH in them and then review the sounds that they make. Also great because it's an amazing homeschool connection. We read them together. We often have them read them with friends again because we know that more rereading stories increases confidence and fluency in kids, which is a super huge part of reading in first grade, is really building that fluency and confidence for them. So we encourage parents to sit down and read with their kids too. They get 2 books that go home every week, so it's 2 opportunities for parents to really listen to the skills that they're reading. And reading with buddies is really fun too, because it's fun sometimes to pair the different levels of readers and tell them that they get to be the teacher. So they're really listening intently while the kids are reading, and it's so fun to listen to them read and say like to their partner, like, oh, Mindy, like, go back and try again because the PH makes the sound. So it's fun to listen to them, get a chance to be a teacher and teach their friends to read with them also. So. Hi. You thought I ran away. What's your word? Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Brenda Germain. I teach kindergarten, and we're having a little technical problem, but Trisha's on it. So step 6 in each lesson is word work with manipulatives, and Kristen, our secretary at the elementary school, was so kind that this summer she made over 315 magnet letterboards, but these are amazing. The kids love them. It's such a great tool for them to learn encoding and decoding. and it's their favorite time of the day to do this, but it's been a real benefit for us and our kids. So I have a video of the kids actually doing our little word work chains. If it comes up, great. If not, I'll just give you a little detail of what we do. Okay. So before you started, so down here in our manual, they give us the words to use, and it's very well thought out. It usually goes with the lesson we've just taught, and they'll also use letters from previous lessons. They'll add those in there, but here's two little kiddos in action in a small group.
You have job. I want you to change it to jog. Great. Now change the O to a U. And what word do we have? Jug. Great. Change jug to bug. Excellent. Now, I would like you to swap out the for a. Oh, sorry. What word do we have? Bag. It is bag. Great job. Yep. I would like you to change bag to wag. Where's W? Great job.
So that is our magnet board. We love it, and Kristen is currently making more now for second grade to join in the fun. So thank you.
Oh shoot, sorry. That's okay. There.
Thank you, Trish.
Yep.
I'm Andrea Forrest. I teach first grade, and I'm going to talk about the blending board. I put a little fancy thing here, so hopefully that works. But the blending board is something that we use either with a kid sitting on the carpet and we do it whole group, or maybe we do it with the magnets, or maybe we do it with the whiteboards. So we just, fingers crossed, yeah. Click on it.
Oh, what is it supposed to do?
It's supposed to show a letter.
I wonder.
There, okay, oh, I'll just do that. So if I click on the I, we're gonna say I, and then in, and then we can change into pin. I would, really touch these letters, they would show up. And then we can change pin to pine. So it really helps kids find chunks, see how words are related to each other. Then we can change pine to line, we can change line to lime, and keep going. So that's like one of the word chain elements.
All right, before I start with the progress monitoring, UFly uses a process called interleaved approach. And that means like in the old spelling test, it would all be, maybe sh words or ch words, and you have 10 of them. And then the next week, you have a whole new skill, and then you never see those old words again. But the interleaved approach means that you're learning new, but you're continually seeing the old or the previously taught skills. So our assessments that way, our lessons take that approach. And also, if you look at our assessment, just like everything with UFly, very simple, very effective. It begins with the new concepts, which are our phonics that were taught during the week. And then we have our hard words. And then we have our dictation sentences. And that's using our interleaved process is in the dictation. You'll see words that we've learned that week, and then we'll also have skills that we've done prior to that time. This assessment is very important because the results of this will drive who into what our small groups will look like.
And then this was just kind of a final quote that really stuck with us. I was going to do a bit of an intro. So I'm Mindy Shoup, the reading specialist. And these wonderful teams were gracious enough to let me come and be a part of this. The work that they have put into UFly is incredible, and it ties in so well with our top 10 tools, the teach tools for reading, that all of our elementary teachers are going through. This fits in so well, and they have really done such a nice job with incorporating this, this foundation for our youngest learners. So this just was very fitting for kind of all of the work that they have done and the work that they will continue to do this year for all of our kiddos.
Thank you so much for all of you for coming. It was very informational. Should we give them a little time?
Well, I don't think everybody's here, right? The team's not here yet, everybody?
Just me. Is Walt here yet?
No, not yet. So, yeah. So I think if we could kind of keep moving and then we'll circle back when they all arrive.
That sounds good. So should we move on to reports? The listening session summary, there was nobody present for the listening session. So we'll move on then to our superintendent's report.
Perfect. So I'm going to do a couple things tonight. I have a couple things I want to read. So my topic I put on the agenda was school and community partnership. And then I will be up to the board as well to talk about a few things. So I didn't want to miss anything, so I'm actually reading my report tonight. So I want to speak tonight regarding the topic of how crucial the relationship is between a school district and its community. I believe this relationship can and will make or break both entities, which is why it is imperative for the success of both that the relationship be strong and thriving. As with any relationship, there will be ups and downs, highs and lows, moments and topics of agreement and disagreement. These fluid dynamics have the potential to be healthy, productive, and a catalyst to strengthening the partnership between community and school. On the flip side, these dynamics, if allowed to do so, can cause divides and fractures that have a hard time healing if they ever do at all. As the leader of the Somerset School District, I believe deeply in the power of a strong, healthy relationship between this school district and the Somerset community. When it feels like things are going well, the relationship is effortless, positive, supportive, and there's a sense of unity. When we have hit a few bumps in the road, the relationship feels hard, strained, and divided. That is specifically what I want to focus on tonight. In times of adversity and disagreement, how do we navigate that in a way that is productive, healthy, and does not leave lasting scars? As when that happens, it impacts the most important component in this entire relationship, our students. Over the last year specifically, there have been multiple topics raised regarding the school district. Those include, but not limited to, library books, curriculum transparency, financial transparency, status of student achievement, enrollment trends, equity, diversity, and inclusion, personnel, communication, school safety, and administrative pay, just to name a few. Every one of these topics are important, valid, and should be discussed when parents or the community have questions or concerns. Open, face-to-face dialogue is healthy and a vital part of any successful, high-performing organization. However, over the last year, this has not been my experience. Instead, questions or concerns are played out over social media, public comment, and now most recently through school board candidate campaign platforms. A narrative has been created about the Somerset School District that is flat out not accurate, not true, and often missing context or additional information. And I'm stepping up to make it stop and turn the narrative back around to reflect the truth about the Somerset School District. One specific topic I want to put to rest tonight is the current state of our student achievement. I have seen and heard multiple comments over the last few months regarding the perception of our poor student achievement, often missing details that tell the full story of our data picture. I am here to show you that this simply is not true. So, as the board, many of you have seen most of this, but I just want to kind of bring this to light again. Are you able to shrink it just a little bit so you can see that one I'm saying? Maybe not. Perfect. Okay. So I just want to run through a couple tabs here, and I have another document as well. But actually, I do want to start with this one, Alicia. Sorry about that. That's okay. All right. So one of the easiest ways, because I hear a lot about where do we compare, where does Somerset fall in comparison to CISA, schools around us. I heard for a couple months that we're at the bottom, we rank at the bottom. So I want to show you visually where our district falls with our district accountability scores, which is what the state of Wisconsin measures us by, starting with the district. So this is our most recent report card. These are all of the schools in our CISA. And you can see, and I've shared this with our board previously, where Somerset lands as a district in comparison to every other school, okay? So if you look at, we are here, we've got a couple schools, Elmwood is leading the pack, we've got Hudson, Osceola, St. Croix Central, Elk Mound, Somerset, Amory, Ellsworth, River Falls, I could keep going, I know some of these are hard to see, St. Croix Falls, Barron, we've got, I mean, all kinds, right? So I believe it's hard to say that as a district, we are ranking at the bottom of anything. Now, it'd be great to keep moving up this way, but I would say 8th out of 40 schools is pretty darn good. Hi, Bruce. All right, there you are. All right, if you can just click on elementary. So same idea. These are all of the schools in our CISA. The elementary is a little bit tricky because some of the schools have multiple elementary schools. So basically we took an average of those to figure out, okay, where does Somerset land in our CISA in terms of our elementary school accountability scores. So you can see Somerset is here. Certainly we've got a couple schools ahead of us. If you look at the point differential between here and about here-ish, right? Not too many points separate the schools that are just above us. Prescott is killing it. Great. So then we have conversations with schools like this of, wow, what are you doing? Tell us more about. And on the flip side, we have schools calling us, say, how are you doing XYZ? Tell us more about. So not at the bottom of anything. Okay, go to the middle school, please. Okay, so you can see again, all of our CISA schools. This data is blank because these are schools who have 7, 12 middle school, high schools. The data is not necessarily comparable, and their data flushes out in the high school tab, which is the next one. This is blank, okay? So, here's our middle school, okay? Amory, way to go. I know for a fact that Sarah has connected with Amory Middle School of like, man, you guys are killing it. Tell us what you're doing, because we're all doing the same work, right? We also have schools, call Sarah, say, tell us about your standards-based grading. That's awesome. Tell us about your restorative practices. Way to go, okay? Not at the bottom. Okay, go to the next one, please. High school, smack dab in the middle, okay? Do we want to be up here? Absolutely. Lots of conversations happening about how do we get there. We had a year we were down here, if you remember, right? Now, oh, you can't see it down here. Oh, it's over here. There we go. So this school down here has been here 3 years in a row, and I know they're working hard to climb out of that, okay? Not at the bottom. We are literally smack dab right in the middle. Areas of improvement, you bet. Areas of celebration, you better believe it. So now I'm going to move you to this one, because this one drills down a little bit further into the specific state testing data. So I gave you kind of the overall comparisons for all CISA schools. Every year when we get our data back, we create a document, literally looks just like this, of where did we land. And really this one kind of narrows it down to a little bit more geographic for us. Schools that population-wise are fairly close to our size, although we have some, obviously, Hudson, River Falls, New Richmond that are over twice our size. But just to give us an idea of, okay, where are we? So this tab you're looking at is the ACT from last year, and it breaks it down into all of the subcategories for the ACT. So you can see percent of students proficient in advanced, starting with ELA, okay? Not at the bottom, right? Pretty darn close to all the way at the top. And this green shows that this is a 13.7 point increase from the year before. Sometimes a little hard to do apples to apples year to year because these aren't the same kids, it's a different cohort, okay? You move to math, okay? Math, yep, area of improvement, lots of discussion. Good news, up 6.2 points from the previous year, but we've got some area to grow here. And guess what? Our math team is working hard to try to get up, right? Science, here we go, and I won't go through all these, but you can kind of see, again, Somerset and where we fall in comparison to schools similar to our size. You want to scroll up for me? I don't want to mess with the smartboard. Overall English score, so second from the top, even with a 0.9 decrease technically from the year before, okay? Not at the bottom. Looking here, our math, a little bit of an increase. This one looked better for a grade 11 than the previous one up here, which was great, right? This is your ACT score. Science, okay, you get the idea. Again, kind of seeing visually where do we stand. 21.4 is pretty darn good. Reading, right, third from the top. Writing, close to the middle-ish, right? And our overall composite. So we were just behind Hudson, Baldwin, and River Falls. Ahead of Ellsworth, New Richmond, Altoona, St. Croix Falls, all the way down to the bottom with a 0.3 increase from before. So I'm going to keep going down ACT for a minute because I want to show you this as well. So looking at our ACT composite trend over the last multiple years. So I added a little bit of context here as well. So starting with 14-15, 15-16, again, this is our overall composite, okay? 16-17, 21.1, that was the highest score we've had since we started keeping track of this data. 17-18, here's when we made a master schedule change. Here's when things started to shut down, so we ended up taking the ACT, but the scores never really counted for anything in terms of our report card. COVID year, we know that didn't go well, and now we are on our third year in a row of watching that composite go up and up and up, which is of course what we're looking for, okay? I'm going to move you real quickly here through pre-ACT secure. So this was a brand new assessment last year. We don't really have any comparative data, so this is our baseline. Now if you look through here, for sure, there's some areas of like, all right, ELA, yep, we'd like to be up close to the top. Not at the bottom, but we'd certainly like to be higher. Math for our 9th graders, current sophomores, not too bad. These 10th graders are now juniors that will be taking the ACT in a couple weeks. You can see where they landed in ELA. And another thing with math, which is a huge area of focus at our high school, which has not been a secret, okay? Couple more things here. So our forward exams. So this happens in our elementary and our middle school. So you can see here, looking at 3rd grade ELA, you've heard Pam talk about this. You see her building goal in my update every single week. You heard this crew just talk about the science of reading and literacy. This is a massive focus in that building, right? Looking at math for 3rd grade. Again, sitting in the upper tier, right? But some big conversations happening there. ELA for 4th grade, almost at the top. Looking at our math for 4th grade, conversations happening there in the context of just constant improvement. Keep going, then we've got our 5th grade ELA, our 5th grade math, both in almost to the very top, right? 6th grade ELA and math. You can see I'm literally just showing you this, if nothing else, for a visual of where did we land, right? 7th grade ELA, 7th grade math, and one more. 8th grade ELA, 8th grade math. Nothing at the bottom, some darn close to the top, a bunch in the middle, and lots of conversations happening around how do we celebrate what's going well, and how do we keep hammering to improve where areas we need to improve. All right, last thing I will show you is our forward exam, which is science and social studies. So starting with grade 4, science, grade 4, social studies. Almost at the very top. Looking at 8th grade, science, 8th grade social studies. Okay, hanging in about the middle. And then our 10th grade social studies, again, close to the top. A year ago, we were the very top. Okay? So again, I put this out there as a visual because when I keep hearing the narrative of how horrible our student achievement is, it's not accurate and it's not true. And there is a ton of work happening in our buildings literally every single day to celebrate what's going well and building off of that and continuing to hammer down into areas we need to improve. Oh.
Back to my statement, sorry.
Here we go. Okay. So you will never hear me say that our school district is perfect. We are in a constant state of improvement as evidenced by our annual building goals, individual goals, and our strategic plan. Schools and our staff do not get it right all of the time. We make mistakes. I make mistakes. We reflect, we do overs and try again at times, but we are always looking for ways to be better, and often that is by way of parent and community input and feedback, which we need and we want. However, I will not sit back and succumb to the idea that we are this crumbling school district with poor student achievement full of staff who are pushing their personal agendas on students, and that we need to be saved to return to a state of success. I challenge anyone to find a collective staff that cares more about the students we serve every day. That includes teachers, support staff, and administrators. We work hard, we care, we show up on this campus every day to do nothing other than give our very best to our students, families, and each other. We are human beings who don't deserve to be the focus or punchline of the latest community page post, or to be humiliated during public comment, or to be talked about negatively while publicly campaigning. We live in this community, we volunteer in this community, we coach in this community, we shop in this community, and many of us, including myself, have our own children walk on this campus every single day. We are here in Somerset because we choose to be here. Given the state of education right now, every single staff member here could choose to work someplace else tomorrow, but we choose here. I personally have had things written and said about me that are untrue, half-true, inaccurate, and threatening, as last spring someone actually threatened to come to my home over the library book discussion. 99% of these statements are by people I've never met, never spoken to, never received an email or a phone call from, have not had a child go through our school system, or by someone working under a fake social media profile. The other 1% are by people who I do know. Our kids have played sports together. We've been a part of this community together in a variety of ways, which is frankly a big bummer. I get the notion of it comes with the territory, as the superintendent position is very public, but I'm dumbfounded as to why there would be a belief that this approach would be best for our district and students. Attempting to discredit me, our staff, and personally beat our staff down would not seem like the best means to an end, as I would have to believe we all have the same goal at the end of the day, wanting this district to simply be the very best it can be. Working in education is hard. These jobs are hard. The level of mental, physical, and emotional energy that goes into a day of an educator is really quite difficult to fathom unless you've actually lived it. Public schools are more complex now than ever before. There are many reasons for this, including federal and state mandates, most of them unfunded, requirements from the Wisconsin Department of Instruction, lack of funding at the federal and state level, political impacts, and the rate of change in our society, which is moving faster than ever before. The needs of students have changed significantly from when most of us went to school, from mental health to food insecurity to the impacts of social media to the overall busyness of students today. Schools have a hard time keeping up with this change, but man, we are trying and it is hard. So here's what I'm asking. I'm asking the community to help us by making it less hard. Stop the hate, the negativity, the constant scrutiny, the drama, the sarcasm, the untrue statements, the half-true statements, scare tactics, and overall unkindness. Instead, let's flip the script and engage in healthy, open, face-to-face dialogue with your child's teacher, principal, me, or the school board if needed when you have a concern or a question about anything. Let's empower and support our staff to do the jobs they are highly trained and skilled to do. Let's stop using social media in a way that breaks down the school and community relationship and instead use it to build and strengthen that relationship. Let's get back to valuing education and the professionals that show up to this campus every day. Let's get back to modeling for our students how adults can work together around a common issue even if we all don't agree. Every interaction, discussion, meeting, comment, social media post is an opportunity to either build up or break down our school and community relationship. How we talk about teachers matter. How we talk about support staff matters. How we talk about administrators matters. How we talk about our school district matters. Let me restate and be very clear. Hearing and talking about parent and community concerns is critical to our school district. Asking questions is a good thing. Seeking information is a good thing. Asking for transparency is a good thing. At the heart of every problem is a conversation to be had, but it's the delivery that matters, the approach that matters, and kindness matters. As we move forward, I will be focusing my energy on looking through the windshield and not the rearview mirror. I'll be focusing on the good work here that happens every day and the amazing staff we're blessed to have working with our students and our families. I will be focusing on the positive things that make our district so special. It is what it is, that's just who I am. In just the last few weeks alone, we've had the cheer team go to nationals and bring home a state championship. The girls basketball team won their 3rd regional championship in 4 years. The fishing team competed in their state tournament and landed their best state tournament score ever. The girls hockey team fought hard and were sectional runners-up. SHS has community career speakers coming in every week to talk to kids about a variety of career paths. The middle school recently put on an amazing drama performance. Our CIS Psych and Human Anatomy class visited UW Stout's Cadaver Lab. Our elementary school was filled with families for 5 straight mornings as they hosted pastries, partners, and paired reading. In a few days, our robotics team will be competing in their state tournament in Green Bay, and tonight, at the conclusion of this meeting, we have our District Fine Arts Festival. I could go on, but you get the idea. Let's hit the reset button. Let's get back to working together and for each other, not against each other. The Somerset School District will continue to be a great place to work, to educate your children, and we will represent the greater Somerset community with pride. Today and every day is a great day to be a Spartan. Thank you.
are there any questions about the financial enrollment report? Take that, that's a no. Again, thank you. Should we go back to referendum information?
I would love that. Yep.
You
Hi,
have,
Vaughn.
you have a
I have
hard
to
one
follow
to.
that.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry about the confusion on
No, thanks for coming.
But we're happy to present, and we're going to give you some good news if that helps with making up for us being a little bit late here. Can I have you just forward it right for us?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. We'll skip through the site plan here. I'm going to start with updated renderings for the Performing Arts Center, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the bids we received, and Eric will take over from there. So we'll go forward. Just so everybody remembers, this is where the plan is, multi-purpose room renovation as well as a new Performing Arts Center. And I am going to point out, we haven't talked about it a whole lot, but that space between the Performing Arts Center and the gym is actually designed as art gallery space. So that's going to have display cases, pinup boards, lighting in there to really provide a place for gallery hang up and multi-purpose display events going on in that area as well. Skip forward to the next sheet, a little bit larger blow up there for our auditorium space with the support. Not a whole lot has changed in this area, so we're dialed in on our square feet, and actually so far dialed in that we've received bids for the precast wall panels that are going to go around the outside, and Eric will talk about that in a little bit. So updated renderings, and we've really dialed in on the design now at this point, and what you're going to see is going to be more or less what this will look like. We've got a few more final meetings to have on this, but this is the entry to the Performing Arts Center. One of the things we're being cognizant of is the fact that we know in the master plan, we wanted to account for the fact that you might expand the gym in the future. This might actually be a little bit different. So this is designed so that everything from the left of that door can be removed and we can expand out there and that lobby space can stay as it is, or we've designed it structurally so that we can expand that space as well. So, so this really is designed to say how would we expand this in the future as we go in. You can see we've got a lot of glass there, but we're being a little bit cognizant about how much daylight we have coming into that space. So a little bit of an area to the left of that entry that could be developed as an outdoor plaza space if you wanted to in the future, but we're focused more on the inside than exterior spaces at this point. Another view looking at it from the back. So this is as you come into the site, this is what you would see and draw you to the entry. The precast panels that are on the right side of that, those are very similar to what's at the gym, but with a little bit more accent to them. So it's a combination of sandblast and acid etch in there just to give it a little bit of visual variety and set it apart from the gym, but it will blend in overall. The bricks on here, it's a little hard with the computer rendering to get that, but these are the same exact bricks that we used when we did the heavy-duty construction expansion on the last referendum, and you can see those match the building really well. So that's intended to be a nice match to what exists already of the building. And we're anticipating, we've done the clear anodized, or the silver canopy, the columns, and you can see the cap along the top of the building. We're doing in a silver, thinking that as you proceed in the future, you might start to move away from the green cap that's on the wall as you do different, just to get a little bit more contemporary feel as you go forward. So this is a view you'll never see, knock on wood, of the roof ripped off the auditorium. But let's go into the inside here and start walking through the spaces. So this is, as we just come in the main entry, this is our lobby space. So down to the left would be that gallery corridor. To the right actually is a door that brings you up to the upper level where the control room would be. We got a little bit of accent here, but we're using that wood corner of the auditorium to really highlight where you're going to enter into that space and start to give some visual cues to what the inside of the auditorium would look like. To the upper left in that corner is a pinup wall that's actually, you won't notice that it's a pinup wall, but it exists for both acoustics as well as if you want to do big banners for shows and other things there that would take place. We've got the digital screen there for whatever the shows are. You can run that, or you could actually have CCTV showing what's going on, so if someone has to step out during performance, they can monitor what's happening from inside the lobby space as well. And then the two entry points coming in. One brings you around to house right, the other one brings you right into house left. Another view there, so again, looking down that corridor would be taking you to the gallery space, and it's a little hard to show in the rendering, so we wanted to show you we've got some built-in benches that have fabric on those. display case there. It doesn't have any artwork in it right now, so I know he's looking intently at the display case, probably wondering what's going on, but just that sets up what would be taking place all the way down that corridor as you go in. This is the inside of the auditorium. We've updated a few things, look similar to what you've seen before, but what I can tell you is the proscenium, the opening around the stage there where it's red, that's actually a paint stain on the wood that's going to take place in that area. And so it's a very, very dark red. We're trying not to have it be school colors, but harken back to school colors. The way we've been talking about in the office is it's really electric guitar red. So if you think about that cherry lacquer that you see on some electric guitars, it's that dark, dark, rich red color in there. We've got some LED lighting that's harder to render in the space, but that will give you the ability to change really the color and the hue inside the auditorium as well, so that let's say you're staging Wizard of Oz and you want to represent the Emerald City, LED lights can have that whole auditorium glow green as you're going inside. And the backs of the seats are black, but if you look at the next rendering, what we're doing here is we've got 5 different seat colors that would be sort of a mix in there. A couple of versions of red, a red gray, and a couple of versions of gray. And this is based a little bit on something that the Guthrie Theater developed back when they did their theater, and so that when you have a half full house and you're looking out from the stage, it doesn't look like a sea of empty seats. It gives you a little bit of visual variety as you're coming into the space. We've got that same wood that we have in the lobby as an accent throughout the space, both for the follow spot areas in the back as well as those areas in the front. To the lower right is where we've got our openings for orchestra or choir on those occur on both sides of the stage. As those doors open up, you'll see that same red that's on the proscenium opening to give a little visual cue for those performance spaces as well. When they're not used, walls close back in, it's that same wood color. And then we've got in that last image as well, with the white rectangle there, that's actually representing their drop-down screens. So if you want to project on either one of those screens to accent the shows, you've got that. Those go up into the space, so it just looks like the wood when those are up and out of the way. This is the green room, dressing rooms in the back, so it's a common makeup space for all the performers as well as a gathering space. The doors lead right out to the stage or backstage area from there. You've got dressing rooms to either side as well as bathrooms. And this is connected to the scene shop and some of the other backstage utility spaces as we move forward. So those are the updated renderings. Those will be on the website so that people can see that. I'm pretty excited as somebody who has a minor in technical theater. This is where I spent my life doing this kind of things, and we're really excited for how this shaped up. Questions on that before we get into budget?
Are we going to get a precast mock-up panel out here?
Yes.
soon?
Yep, we will get a precast mock-up panel. We've got samples that we've been using for color, but before the project proceeds, there'll be both a precast panel as well as a masonry panel for control, so we'll be able to see what that looks like. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Eric to talk a little bit about bids we received, because we're getting very good bids on the elementary and the precast coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vaughn. Again, apologies for tardiness a little bit. I got my times mixed up, but I think the good news we're about to talk to will make up for that. Go to the next slide here.
I'm sorry, this is an updated elementary slide. It's going to be on the website. It just reflects the bids that we received. How much? Next. There we go.
I think one more.
Oh, no, that one's it.
Or is that it?
That was it.
That's good.
So talking about budget updates, I think you put the sheets I had here at the end of this slide.
Yep.
Schedule-wise, just talking about that really quick. Again, schools getting real close to be out here. June 3rd, we're gonna come in, knock out the elementary school. Like Vaughn said, we did bid pack 1, which was all the elementary school work. We're very pleased with the numbers. What we'll get into here is reviewing our scope review session. All of the low bidders, the second bidders, we scoped them out. And then today we're gonna make recommendations to you guys about who we recommend going to contract to, ultimately to build a GMP to the current prime contract we have with you guys. Let's just go one more.
Which one do you want pulled up?
Just the scope recommendations page. Maybe that's a different sheet. Sorry.
Yep, those have to go to the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
Is it The one on the elementary school?
Yeah, let's start with that one, perfect.
Oh, the first
I
one?
had it smaller, hold on one second. Okay, which one?
This one right here. Okay.
Some precast.
And we'll start with precast, so going a little bit backwards here, this is bid package 2. This bid out on the 14th, so 2 weeks ago, and this bid package was solely for precast. Precast is one of the items that has a longer lead time, so like Vaughn said, we wanted to get ahead of it. This is the overall budget sheet here that we have built for the Performing Arts Center. You'll notice DD budget is plugged in 95% of the items except for precast, the one that we bid out. On this sheet, you'll see Wells Concrete Products. That is who we're going to recommend using. Our original DD budget, $1,433,000 and change. Happy to announce Wells did come in a little bit under, so we're on the right track. We just gained $73,000 under what we were tracking at DD. Go to the next slide, please.
Is it connected to this or is it a
Oh,
different
yeah,
link?
it should be. It should be. The next one, sorry.
That's okay. Right here?
So again, just the bid tabulation sheet. Once we get to the elementary school, this will be a lot more elaborate as there's 14 work categories. But again, for bid pack 2, work category 034100 precast, we had 2 bidders. We had Wells Concrete Products and then Terracon Precast. Obviously a pretty decent spread there, no brainer. The $1.3 million number is ultimately the decision. If you go to the next page. And then scope review, most important here. For all these different companies, for every different work category, we'll put together a scope review page. I won't go into too great detail, but general scope items focusing on things such as bracing, caulking, and insulation, things that could typically be overlooked. So we've had out Wells yeses to all of our concerned items, and for that reason we are recommending Wells for bid pack number 2, and we recommend that we go forward and issue them a contract. If we go to the next one, please. Thank you. So bid package number 1 was for the elementary school. Again, similar format. We have our DD budget for the 10 different work categories, from building works down to electrical. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sorry.
So DD budget on the left, and then what actually came in for bids on the right. Happily to report, we can see a lot of numbers in parentheses, so ultimately coming in under budget on those. I just think this goes to prove what the bidding market's doing right now. This is good foresight for what happens at the PAC. In reference, if we did get good coverage on all these work categories, if we were to plug the high number, obviously it would show a lot different story, but there is a lot of competition between these 10 work categories. If we go down to the next slide, there we go. Ultimately, between the 10 different work categories, we went with a low bidder for all except for one, and that would have been tiling. I'll go into the details when I get there, and that was just because the low tile number did not have a complete scope, so we're recommending going with number 2. So if we go down, here. So again, just focusing on the key work categories, and just wanted to show a little bit farther.
More?
Sorry.
It's okay. Just let me know when.
We'll start right here.
Okay.
Okay, starting off, so building works, as you guys know, Market & Johnson, we do like to self-perform our own work. In this instance, we are going to bid it out to other contractors that would want to bid on it in the same fashion. For this, we did the building work category, so that's essentially supplying and installing all the doors and the cabinets and the casework. Just for transparency purposes, about 3 hours prior to the bid, we email our bid over to Shannon and other administrative staff, and then in this instance, ROM was the other bidder. They deliver sealed envelope, sealed bid to the bidding site where we open it at 2 o'clock. So again, Market & Johnson, us, we came in about 20,000 under ROM. So for that reason, I would propose we go with Market & Johnson. Next page, please. Second, like I said, there's only one work category. We're not recommending going with the low bidder. Tile is that work category. For that reason, above the rest, commercial flooring pretty much had everything. Big component that they did not include was epoxy grout that was specified. Rough value of that is about $21,000 to $23,000. That, if you added it to their base bid, would put them right in the running. In my opinion, since they did not read the spec thoroughly, and Gregor Tile did, they had a good solid bid, we are recommending going with the Gregor Tile. This is one where, as of this morning, we did not feel good about the first two low bidders. Rutherford was going to be a recommendation, but at the last second, I did get a call from McAuliffe. We did give them an opportunity to perform the work per the specifications at their current bid amount. They were a little hesitant last week, but this morning they did confirm that they would like to proceed with doing the work at their bid. So at $48,600, that's one modification we'll make. You can see that's almost $40,000 in added value that doesn't show on the overall budget sheets. We'll make those modifications here later on. And then getting into the MEPs, so fire protection, plumbing, mechanical, and electrical are obviously very big components of these projects. No concerns, but I just wanted to show you the scope review page that we were pretty thorough with these. Fire protection, we only had two numbers, Integrity Fire Protection and Summit Fire Protection. Both of them were at the pre-bid. I feel very good about their understanding of the scope. Big item to focus on here usually is the labor to meet the schedule at the bottom line. Extensive review of the schedule requirements. 2.5 months sneaks up on you very quick, but Integrity scoped out well. I feel confident that they have the manpower to handle this job. For that reason, Integrity is going to be the recommendation. Plumbing, and again, you can see we had a very wide swath of bidders. N.L stock came in low, very close margins. Again, looking at the few items to scope them out, yes to all of them. Quite frankly, the other two low bidders did as well. This is solely based on price. Feel confident that N.L stock is going to be the recommended bidder. HVAC, a little bit wider spread here. Badger State, Cool Air, first two low bidders. You can see there's almost $100,000, not quite $80,000 in difference between the two. Again, detailed scope review on a few items that sometimes get overlooked. Testing and balancing. The new firewall that's built into the school sometimes gets overlooked, but they scoped out there. The schedule requirements, again, 2.5 months sneaks up on you really quick, but thorough review of the schedule. Feel confident that Badger has everything they scoped out correctly. For that reason, recommending Badger. Last but not least, electrical. This was a big swing. I was a little bit unsure at bid day with the margins, but again, you can see how in depth we went into these items. So Steiner Plumbing and Electrical did scope out well. Some of the key items that we try to vet out to ensure we catch any gaps or misses. Lighting package is pretty big part of this package. $390,000 is what Steiner said it was, and then if you compare it to the next two low bidders, $389 and $389, so they're in the same realm. Fire alarm and reconnecting the smokes, that's another gap. Sometimes different contractors will plug different companies. JCI Technologies versus GB Technologies and GB Technologies. Again, talking to JCI, they have what they need. The generator and the annunciator panel, Generac, Cummins were two of the vendors that gave prices. Steiner in this case plugged in Generac, and you can see the pricing, $58,000, where the other two are at $61 and $59, so we feel good about that. Lighting controls, called out for an N-Light package, and along with that CAD5 to all the different devices. Again, answer yes to that line item. And then the big item, overtime and schedule. Again, electrical is probably one of the bigger scopes of work. Comparing, it's not on the sheet, but comparing hours that these three entities have to each other. NEI came in about 3,100 hours total. Hunt came in at 32, and Steiner came in at around 3,000. So I feel very good that they understand the scope of work. And for that value, our recommendation is going to be Steiner Plumbing and Heating. And then most exciting, how does this transmit to the overall budget? Okay. Yeah, it should be. Scroll down. So, performing arts broken up to the three different projects: performing arts, elementary school, and the track and field. Maybe we'll just scroll all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
Right, focusing on the bottom. So original was when the referendum was set, 22,900,000 is the parameters that we are set. This is a little deceptive, being that we've done 9 different pricing variations. At this point in time, this was just 3 weeks ago, we were showing we were over by 49,000. That did include the bid results from bid pack 1 and 2. One slide previous, or one pricing exercise previous, we were showing about 800,000 over budget. Ultimately, the good news is, after the numbers shook out, once we plugged them into the updated overall cost budget, we're tracking at about 143,000 under budget. So just to clarify, that means the elementary school work, that is ready to go to contract, that's fully executed, there's no fluctuations there. Precast for the performing arts, now that that's bid out, that is a big part of that scope of work. And then the stadium, which will bid out here this coming Wednesday. With the escalation design contingency that we're currently carrying between the PAC, the stadium, and then the under that we're currently tracking here, we have about 5% overall to utilize here for the next 2 bid packs. I know that was pretty quick, but opening up to you guys, any questions, concerns? Shannon, how do we want to do the scope review and the recommendations page? Is that something finalized in closed session, or did we want to?
In talking to Dave, like, we don't have it listed necessarily as action based off of what has been done previous, so I guess that's more of a question for you guys. It's not listed as an action item, so.
So we don't have to take action, we just keep proceeding.
That was
the way we're going?
what, that was what David indicated that's been done in the past.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
Just as long as there's no concerns with what I laid out.
Yep.
So.
I know I ask this every time, but I still don't see the playground.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And that was one point that I was gonna make. Can you go up a little bit, please?
Really excited for that playground.
Elementary school, if we go to FF&E playground costs, right now we're tracking 252,000.
Okay.
And that will track to the bottom line.
Okay, thank you, it was small.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
I was.
We've been working with the vendor on that. They've got some different options. So there's a base and there's some upgrades. They didn't have the accessibility in there, and so we said, go back and make sure that the accessibility.
Well, I know it
is
can
part.
vary
Yeah.
a lot. You know, it can vary from small to really big, so I just want to make sure that that's.
And that's one of the things that why we haven't shown any renderings is we're not actually doing the design. The vendor's doing it. We're just helping coordinate it. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Great
Yeah.
news,
Yeah.
good start.
Thank you.
I have a question, and, you know, I'm not a construction person, so in the previous document that you were in, the one with the elementary school, and it had to do with the plumbing and electrical.
Yeah.
And I noticed the numbers for the generator and the thing above it, that I don't even know what it is, are a lot smaller, and I'm guessing that it has to do with like the power of those things, is that right?
Yeah, the Generac or the Cummings.
Ah, thank you, I thought it was watts, all right, thank you.
Good.
And the performing arts package is set to go out in April. So you'll see the final package for work. It's nice to have the contingency here. We're keeping track of other items that have been sort of wish lists or requests, much like we did in the last project, so that if we do have additional funds, you can decide as a board how best to spend these.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, I appreciate it.
Okay, then we'll keep moving forward with our agenda, and next we'll look at the high school principal hiring process. It was requested that this come up for discussion as far as moving forward. Shannon, do you want to just start with basically, I mean, what we've gotten an email, but just what that process is right now scheduled for?
Yes, so interviewing on, make sure I tell you, next Thursday, March 7. Combination of students, staff, parents, administrators will be a part of the process. I sent out a Google Doc to the high school staff Friday, giving them a week and an opportunity to submit either specific questions or just general topics they would like potentially to be on the list of questions, so gathering some themes and things to help develop, get some input there. So I reached out to each team to ensure that there was a representative from each team in the high school as a part of the process. So finalizing that between kind of today and tomorrow-ish as teams are getting back to me, so yeah, coming together. Finalizing the last couple parts, so.
So are there specific questions or things concerning the principal hiring process that would like to be asked or brought up?
Yes, I appreciate Shannon including most of the stakeholders in the hiring process for the high school principal, the students, the staff, the parents, the administrators, but I couldn't help noticing that there is no board representation in this process. Prior to Mark Bezick becoming the district administrator, for over 30 years when Diane Beeler and Randy Rosberg were the administrators for the district, the final 2 or 3 candidates for any administrative position were interviewed by the entire board. And since we are the elected representatives for the community, and we are often held responsible if the community doesn't like what's happening in the district, they elect us, they don't elect Shannon. And I would expect that the board would have some input in the hiring of administrators.
Other feedback
I agree that the board should have input into the hiring of a high school principal.
I guess I look at it as if we hire Shannon, we went through a very extensive process, and she does the evaluating of her administrators and gives the feedback to us. I don't have any issue with the superintendent, obviously with the interviewing with the teams to make her choice and her recommendation to us. I don't feel like I need to sit on any hiring committee for any administrative position. I wouldn't want to, I guess the way I would look at it is if I have a thought on who I want to pick and the superintendent would go different than that, is that gonna cause issues later on in this process? I guess that's how I would look at it. But I think it's fine the way she has it set up. I'm glad there's all types of involvement in it, or all the groups. That's my take.
I just kind of try to look at it practically. Either way, we're going to get a recommendation to approve the contract with the principal. Not that we would, but conceivably, they could not approve, correct? And then what? Does it seem cart before the horse a little bit? Or no?
But I mean, we don't sit on any teacher interviews and we get recommendation that we have to approve.
We don't have to approve teacher hires, do we?
Yeah, even our
personnel.
You gotta approve me as a volunteer coach tonight. I mean, that's how granular we get, so.
Oh, no.
I mean,
I don't know, that's what I was looking at. I mean, it's a good question, I guess.
I took a lot of time after just this kind of went out, because I look at this at a couple different sides. Like if I were to sit on the hiring process as a board member, I mean, I'm also a parent of a high schooler. So I mean, I think really, I get what you're saying, Lori, but I think as far as the amount, the people that are listed there, I think covers the gamut. The other thing that I just really kept on going back to is to Shannon's job description. And the big part of her job description is hiring and overseeing our administration. And I'm gonna go back to when we had to, we have to evaluate Shannon. A lot of that's her, reflects on her. So I feel like if we wanna be a part of that, we're not evaluated for that, we're evaluating her. So I feel like that's, And I will go back, I think, I've had some reflection too, because I think in the past, I think as a board member, I've learned more in that process to know, you know, what's the board member's responsibility versus what's the superintendent's. So, to me, this isn't something that I feel like that's why we hired Shannon to make that decision, and I think it'd be different if she was going into it and making the decision by herself, but I think the plan and outline that we have, I'm comfortable with.
I'm in agreement. I think you bring a valid points, Lori, about the involvement, transparency piece. But I'm in agreement that with Bruce and Lacey, that it falls on her job description. We hired her, we evaluate her. Her administrative team is runs under her direction. I don't think it's the board's involvement for that day to day. That's something that will be reflected in the evaluation. So I think that the process that's in place is I support.
I'm with them. It's her job. Let her do it. She's the one in the buildings every day. She should know what she needs and who she needs. So with the input of the other staff and community, I say let her have it. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, it's her evaluation. I mean,
fair.
I didn't mean that to sound like a threat. Yeah, I hope it works out.
Anything else to go with this? Do we want to, I mean, I feel like this is something to take action on, to take a vote and how we want to move forward, or is it?
Sufficient majority or final.
When somebody wants it.
So the majority of us in discussion was fine moving forward and with Shannon's recommendations and how she plans to go forward with that principal process. Okay. Then we will continue to move forward on our agenda. Looking at the advanced operations. Last meeting, we discussed the substitute pay increase. And attached is the substitute pay increase in memo, and there were some additional questions that were made, some good questions that then Shannon came back and responded to. Does anybody have any other discussion or questions regarding the memo for the substitute pay increase?
I would just say, Lori had a good question on the phone last meeting about not matching New Richmond's 185. Was there any talk? I went through all the stuff that was sent.
Yeah.
Was there, did I miss something in that?
No.
Why didn't we just match that?
So we certainly can. The initial conversation from our business office was trying to stay with an even number, truly, because there's a little more complexity when you're dealing with the odd numbers with the amount that we have to move through it. 185, great. And trying to at least find a good place to start. So didn't want to overshoot, felt it was comfortable, but 185, great. And I'll add to it, Lori, your questions were great, and hopefully they were helpful when I added everybody to the response, because it's tricky because there's no guarantee. It doesn't mean that we pass this tonight or don't, right, that there's 25 subs walking through the door, but, I stand by at least wanting to try something because our staff are dying. And so, it might be at least a small enough chunk of time between now and the end of the year that, we can come back in June and say, hey, here's at least something that we saw. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe we go back, in September and, again, if it's passed, if it's not, I understand that too. But it's not cut and dry to say, here's exactly what I can tell you the financial impact is going to be. Here's exactly how many subs I think we'll get. I mean, we just don't know, but I'm desperate to try something, which was the recommendation, so.
I'll make a motion to approve substitute pay increase of $185 a day.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Hopefully it works.
Stay tuned.
Looking at consenting the agenda, are there any questions regarding minutes, board bills, personnel update, or invoices, or would somebody like to make a motion to approve?
I'm gonna make a motion to approve A1 and 2, B1, and D1, because I don't think I can approve myself. So,
Can I just make one comment? So Lori made a good catch on the invoice. It says middle school. That was a typo that Market Johnson was fixing, and they'll send over a new one just so we have an accurate one. It needed to say stadium. I believe that was the one that was missing. Nothing is happening with our middle school. It was frankly just a misprint, so. The numbers are all correct.
Okay.
But
Is there a second to Bruce's motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Well, I will recommend to approve the personnel update CI, or C1, sorry.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking forward to our general information, March 4th will be our next work session, and then our March 18th will be our next regular session with a listening session 30 minutes prior. We'll move forward with district celebrations. Bruce, would you like to start?
sure. Shannon hit all of the kind of external activity highlights. I think I brought up to him last time, hockey and cheer state championship. I mean, is that, yeah, so state champs in cheer and anything is amazing. So that's awesome that happened. I think I hope they can come here maybe at our next meeting or something. To recognize that. Everything she said in the update with everything going on, especially with this week. The elementary school for bringing in the teachers, I love that. I think we've talked about it before, just having staff come in and present what they do. I mean, I don't have a child in elementary school right now, so I mean, just to get just some of that stuff, I think is great for people to see as they can watch, and for us to understand what they're doing each day. That helps us answer questions too. And to see the people. I mean, some of you don't know, so thanks for coming in and bringing them in. That's awesome. And then I would hope people would review what Shannon said. I mean, she said it perfectly. That's why we hired her, because that's the person I'm following and I'm all in on, and that is why, from what she said. So I hope that everybody watching this tonight heard that loud and clear. And if you have a problem, I hope you come up and talk to me face to face, just like she brought up. A face-to-face conversation is great. I am all over the place out in the public. I hope you would bring it up to my attention if you have issues. And I do support this staff, and they drop everything to bring your kid to meet you halfway to an event that they missed the bus for. They go above and beyond what they have to do. They mop the floors. They call basketball games on a Friday night after they've been here all day. I mean, that's what people in this community do, and that's what they've done forever, and that's why I'm here. So I hope, I'm 100% behind our staff, and they are only doing what's best for the kids, and we'll say it over and over and over. So keep it up, everybody, and I'm gonna keep sending my kids here. So
Mark?
that's it.
I was really impressed with the U-Fly program, totally impressed, and that gets kids started out reading and enjoying reading so that they continue on to read. And I know that I've read some of the things on Facebook that are horrible, and I think some people will never be happy unless they get this wheel going, and I wish and I hope that we can do something for our teachers to support them and to make them feel like they are wanted and loved and, and everything else. So maybe sometime in the future we can come up with something, that will help them, but we can't stop the Facebook people. They're gonna do what they're going to do, and that's on them. That tells me what kind of people they're like. Your turn.
Yeah. Well, on a different note, I want to thank Shannon and Lacey and Dr. Pritzel for inviting the school board candidates in. It was a little disappointing to see that only 3 of the 6 showed up, but a lot of good information. It was a great time. On another note, to echo everybody else, cheer, basketball, hockey, all the people doing great things. Congratulations to not just the students, but teachers, coaches, volunteers, parents. It's great to see.
Lori?
I received an email from the St. Croix Valley chapter of the League of Women Voters from Carolyn, and this group serves 3 counties, St. Croix County, Polk County, and Burnett County. And she checked, they're sending out questionnaires to the board candidates, and they're going to be posted on the League of Women Voters website for all 3 counties, every single district in all 3 counties. And so Carolyn checked every school district's website looking for the information on their candidates, and she said that by far Somerset's website was the best she had ever seen, and that Alicia had done a fantastic job. And she was extremely impressed. And so I'd like to thank Alicia, and I encourage voters to go to the League of Women Voters website. There's another opportunity to get more information about the candidates. They asked some different questions that I thought were very great questions, very insightful, good questions. And Shannon, your achievement results that you presented tonight in your presentation, could they be attached to the agenda?
Sure.
So
All
that
public.
we have
Yep.
a place for people to go so they can see where Somerset is ranking, and they can see that different from what some people have said, we are not at the bottom.
Yep.
Thank you.
Ian?
I'm also going to thank Alicia for getting everything together tonight, for canvassing the primary election, and for 2 district residents, Rachel Erickson and Kaylee Kern, for helping me do it.
I just want to say thank you for all the information you presented tonight. I thought that was very well put together, and it was great information in contrast to what is out there. So thank you for that. As far as the teachers, so the U-Fly information, I have a 3rd grader in the elementary school, and our teachers, they're fantastic. So the comments out there that there's issues and there's problems, it's just not accurate. I have a 3rd grader that comes home every single day so excited to go read and dig into everything she did in her day. And it just speaks volumes to why I sit here and what this district is about. I have 2 in the middle school, so I have full involvement and full knowledge of what's going on in the middle school. And I support and absolutely thank every teacher and support staff and administrator that is helping to run that building. I'm not in the high school yet, but I know that with next year, my oldest stepping into it, I know that the support from the administrators and the support staff and the teachers is there, and I really appreciate it. I know that we don't, as a board, pat ourselves on the back for the job we did. You spoke perfectly to it by saying like, there's room for improvement, and I think all of us, as we sit here, we all recognize that, and we all know we can get better. We all come from different places, but we all want the success of this district. That's why we all sit here. So thank you to all of you that sit here as well. I support the staff and everyone here 100%.
Well said, thank you. I will echo lots of the comments that were made. Again, just all the sports, I won't go through them all again. Support of the staff, and I think with what Mark said, like how can us as a board, I mean, we say it, but not everybody watches board meetings, not everybody does that. So how can, we make sure that they know that and see that. Also, just on the parents' pastries and paired reading that was at the elementary school. I attended, and it was just such a wonderful way to start the morning. And it was neat that they took the teachers were there, everybody was reading, just a very great climate to start the day and to promote literacy within our children. So thank you to the parent group for that and the elementary staff as well. So, yeah.
Before you adjourn, I just want to go back for 1 second to the substitute teaching.
Yeah.
Your recommendation, was it just for teachers, and did we cover the support staff recommendation?
It was just for teachers at 185.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'll make a motion
Okay.
that we
Thank you.
increase the support staff, and thank you for catching that.
Okay.
Is
Thank
there a
you, Sarah, for
second?
catching that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Change in dollar.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned at 6:35.
Shannon, your thoughts